double check with the president on everything that you say, because it's important not only the decision that you communicate, but the words that you use to do so. Surround yourself with loyal staff. There's only 12 people that work in the press office, making sure that you don't have people that are leaking or looking to write salacious books.
Following President Trump's victory last week, I'm here to discuss his new cabinet and the first 100 days of his presidency with his former press secretary, Sean Spicer. Who do you think should be Trump's new press secretary?
I think somebody that he trusts. Actually, I know that sounds obvious, but he's very particular about the words that he wants used to describe his decisions, the policies, and the personnel. So it's going to be somebody that he thinks is going to project his image well, his decisions well.
Have you got any names in mind?
I do.
Who are you thinking of?
I'm not at liberty to share.
And what would be your advice to the new press secretary?
Interesting that you put that out. I've got an op-ed that will come out any second now that I'll put on my website. I've got 14 recommendations that I'm putting out to the new press secretary about some of the logistical things that they do, how they do their job. As I said, the first and foremost thing is double check with the president on everything that you say, because it's important not only the decision that you communicate, but the words that you use to do so. Surround yourself with loyal staff. There's only 12 people that work in the press office, making sure that you don't have people that are leaking or looking to write salacious books. I have a list of things that you can go to my, I'll push it out on my social media sites, but I thought long and hard about the advice I wish I had gotten.
What do you make of this battle in the Senate for the Senate Majority Leader? Are there problems of so-called establishment Republicans trying to take over the agenda? Do you support Rick Scott? What do you think about that whole situation?
Well, look, I think Donald Trump won resoundingly last Tuesday, and so there's a desire not to have business as usual. And Rick Scott is an individual who I think appreciates Donald Trump's agenda and wants to work with him. The other folks I think probably do too, but came to the party too late, if you will. I think there's going to be an insurgent move among MAGA supporters to get people on board with Rick Scott. I just don't know if he'll have enough to put him over the top. It's going to be an interesting dynamic, because the way it works is the bottom person drops out. So right now, I think most people believe that John Thune of South Dakota has the most votes. You need 27 to win. So when he goes into that first vote, as long as he doesn't get 27 the first vote, whoever of the three candidates gets the lowest amount drops off. And if that is John Cornyn that drops off, and then, where do those votes go? I think a lot of them end up with Rick Scott, and, depending on how many hard commitments John Thune has, this could be a real race. The one other point that I wish I'd made is right now it's a closed ballot. So there's a lot of people who might be saying one thing and voting another. There's a movement to try to force senators to be public with who they're going to support, and we'll see where that goes, because there's a lot of pressure on these guys not to hide behind a closed, a vote.
What do you make of Trump's picks so far with his chief of staff, potentially with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio? Are you impressed with these people?
Absolutely. These are folks that are extremely competent, but also committed to enacting his agenda, and that's important. We saw in the first, transition, there were a lot of people who wanted to come in, but I think for the wrong reasons. And the folks that he is choosing right now understand that their goal is to join the administration to advance his agenda and to serve the America First policies that he has espoused on the campaign trail.
And what do you make of the fact that President Trump has said that he's not going to select Nikki Haley and Mike Pompeo? Is this a significant move against the more establishment, so-called rhino Republicans?
No, I don't think that Mike Pompeo is a rhino by any stretch. I think what it comes down to is loyalty. These folks are making it clear, his decisions of who he's choosing and who he's not, that he is not going to staff this administration with people that aren't committed to him and to his agenda. And if they've been disloyal in the past, they're not going to get a job.
And does his selection of Tom Homan as his so-called border czar show that Trump is serious about mass deportations? What does this selection mean?
This is a huge signal to anyone who's thinking about coming into this country illegally, or anyone that's here illegally, that he means business. Tom Homan is a top-notch professional, a law enforcement official who understands the system and is committed to protecting America.
So do you feel this second Trump administration is going to be the first on steroids, as it were? Is this going to be more slick, more effective, much better at controlling the border and so on?
Absolutely. I think the policy and the process and the people are going to be much more focused. One of the silver linings of Trump being out of office for the last 4 years is that there's been a lot of people spending a lot of time putting names together, putting policies together, and getting ready for a second administration. And so they are going to hit the ground running and take Washington by storm on January 20th.
What should President Trump do on day one? I know he said he wants to be a dictator on day one, but what should he be doing?
First of all, just to be clear, that was a joke that he was making. But I think in a serious way, he's going to come in and make it very clear. You're going to see a stack of executive orders and actions, probably fairly high, on everything from the economy to immigration to cultural issues and DEI. But like I said, I have no doubt that January 20th is going to be an extremely busy day for this administration.
And how do you think Trump should protect himself from lobbyists, from more establishment, moderate Republicans who kind of, they praise Trump, they say they're loyal, but behind his back, they're not loyal, they're disloyal. So how do you protect from those people?
He doesn't need protecting. The guy can smell a rat a mile away. He knows who's who. He's been around the block. This isn't his first rodeo, so he's going to know exactly what to do from day one. I have no worrying about. He'll protect himself.
And just finally, on the election result itself, a lot of Democrats are saying that they lost because America is racist and sexist and bigoted. They couldn't handle a black woman. Do you think the Democrats are learning the right lessons from their loss last week?
As a Republican, I hope they keep believing that, because they'll never win again if that's truly what they believe. Look, they had a bad candidate with a bad message who didn't address the issues of the American people, and they faced a candidate in Trump that was exactly the opposite. He understood the concerns of the American people. He put forward proposals that addressed them, and so if that's what they want to believe, great. Hang out in the wilderness for decades then.
And why do you think the Republicans won the popular vote this time? It's a historic moment. It didn't happen since 2004. What was it about the Trump that meant he won so big?
Two things. One, I think that Joe Biden came through on his pledge to be the most progressive president ever, and that's not what people wanted or expected when he ran. And second is that President Trump put forward a series of proposals based on his first term that people said, we want a secure border, we want an economy that brings prosperity to the country. So he had his finger on the solutions that the American people were on, and the Biden administration, led by Kamala Harris, went way too far on a number of key issues that the American people care about.
Sean Spicer, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to watch more content, please subscribe to our new GBN America YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.